Carol's back. Barbara's back. I'm stalking you, yes. Thank you. I love my stalkers. Thanks so much for that. Okay, this is binding without tools. So just your sewing machine and your scissors is all we need for this one. And what we're going to do, just got caught up in my shirt. There we go. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put them on. Don't forget, any new ones out there, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell. I'm going to be live on YouTube throughout all this. Julie's back too. Love all me stalkers. Thanks. Don't forget, guys, share it with all your quilting groups and everything as well. I'm happy for everybody to watch these over and over again. As I say, in this sort of format, you can actually stop me, start me, pause me, rewind me, or delete me. Okay, so you can't do it in real life, but you can actually do it on here. And Joanne's back too. Hi, Joanne. So you can actually, yeah, just share it with all your groups, share it on your Facebook pages. Happy for you to all do that as well, because it is actually supporting a small business. I am. I have been halted and confined. I'm actually enjoying coming to you this way. This is my interaction with everyone. So let's, I'll go on a little bit more at the end of this. What I'm going to do now is do the binding. So binding, first thing I get asked is, what size binding do we use? 2.5 inches what I use, because that's what I've got so much of. Okay, or your 2.5 inch strips. Okay, you can use 2.25. There's different ways of people like what they like, and that's fine. All right, the width of your binding will define what your seam allowance will be. So what our aim is, maybe I'll come in a little bit closer. What our aim is to get a similar amount on the front and the back. Okay, so my little rule with a 2.5 inch strip is the edge of my foot. Okay, so I use the edge of the foot to do the actual seam. If it's 2.25, it's usually a 1/4 inch foot, but you can throw that way out the window if your wadding is thicker than what I'm using right here. I use it 100% cotton. Sometimes a cotton 80-20, but most of the time it's 100% cotton. But it all depends on what your wadding width is as to where your seam allowance is, as to what your binding is. It all travels down. All right, the next question, how much do I leave at the beginning before I start sewing it on? My theory, if I can scrunch this quilt up and put that under the machine, that's all I need. Okay, bigger quilt, bigger scrunch, longer strip. Okay, so if you are OCSD, obsessive compulsive sewing disorder, and you need to know a measurement, it's about 8 to 10 inches, okay, that you'll need to put on that. So this one I've done up here is it's bigger, so you can actually see it. All right, and what I'm going to do, this is where I've sewn my seam allowance. Okay, so when we start sewing, the seam allowance, whatever it is what I'm going to stop from the bottom of the corner of the quilt. So I'll leave the needle in, I turn it, okay, turn it, and I reverse straight off. No angles, no nothing, just straight off. Okay, the binding, I then pick it up so that all the raw edges are equal. Okay, are level, and then I bring that down so the fold is straight across from where I've sewn before, and I just come straight back on and start sewing with my seam allowance. When you do that, you end up with your perfect mitered corner. Okay, so then we go round and we do the 4 corners. All right, sun's coming out, it was raining before, hope that's not too glary. So we go around and do the 4 corners. Now we're going to get to the end. Okay, this is the one, I don't know how many times I've done it before I figured this out. When you're joining your end. So when I join my binding, I do it at the angle. I never join with a straight seam, because if you join with a straight seam, you end up with a whole heap of seams on top of each other. It's a little bit too thick in that section. So I do actually do it with the angle, so that your seam is washed across a little space of it. All right, so this is where I've had my first bit where I've started, and there's 2 rules on this at the end to do this ending. All right, the first rule is I'm going to have the fabric right side facing and cut it to the right with a 45-degree angle. Okay, so right side facing, cut it to the right with a 45-degree angle. So then when I lay it down on the quilt, I have what I call the long end on the bottom and the short end at the top, on the top piece. So I'm going to be working with the top piece. This is my binding that's coming down at the end, and I'm going to overlap it because I want to join these 2 with a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to overlap it by 1/2 inch. I think yesterday's video I said 1 inch. It's 1/2 inch. Okay, a little bit outspacey yesterday. All right, so 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is work with the top piece on here and the top piece on this one. I'm going to overlap it, lay it flat, overlap it by 1/2 inch, and I put a little nick with the scissors or a pin or whatever, mark with the pen, whatever you like to do, right? By 1/2 inch, the two top ones. Then I go back to rule number 1, right side facing, cut it to the right with a 45-degree angle. When you do that, we now have the short piece on the bottom and the long piece on the top. So we've actually cut it to the opposite. So when I pick it up, we will get the 1/4 inch seam, the little dog ears, right at the end of the 1/4 inch. Sew it up, and you will get, here it is. This fitted under the machine, needs to go in again, it's been used a fair bit. Right, and we will sew a 1/4 inch across here. So then when it goes down, it will lay flat, and you're able to sew the rest of the seam across. I don't know how many times I've sewn them together and I've cut them the same way, and then I had to unpick it and cut it the other way, and you've got too many seams in it. This method works. So right side facing, cut it to the right with a 45-degree angle. Okay. If you're machine binding or hand stitching your binding, all right, hand stitching, we sew it on the front, roll it over to the back. I will take a little bit of the back, I'm going to move in a bit closer here, a little bit of the back. I put the needle about 1/4 inch, a bit more than 1/4 inch through. Okay, come back out, then I pull another little bit from the backing and go along. I don't use clips, pins or anything, because I don't know whether you ever noticed, but as you're working along, you're actually resetting your hand every time you do the hand sewing anyway, so you're putting it in the right position. By the time you actually get to the corner, it's just a matter of flipping it over and it works. Okay, I then just do 2 little stitches and off I go again. All right, if you're machine binding, you'll machine it on the back, bring it over to the front. Now, many years, 30 years I've been quilting, and one of the first 3 quilts I made, I was shown the machine binding. I looked on the back and went, oh my God, I was on and off, on and off, on and off. Hence, I hand stitched all my binding since then. But these days, we have decorative stitches on our machines. So you can actually do a swirly deal that goes on and off. You can do a nice feathery stitch or something on it, and it doesn't look that bad. The other thing is there's a lot of binding tools come out. So now I have my jack machine that has a binding foot, and it puts it on. It actually puts all the fabric in, and as soon as it gets to the needle, it's all in the same spot. So a lot of my quilts now are put on with a machine binding. The other thing is I know when you're working around and you're putting your binding on, you can guarantee pretty much every 3rd quilt you do, you'll have the join of the binding on a corner. Hands up or say hello if we've all got that. Right, on the first one that I did, I went, unpick it. What I call my practice tool is my unpicker. So I need to practice that seam again, so I need to unpick it. I made sure that corner, that seam was not in that corner, and I sewed along, but you can guarantee I got round to the next corner and it was on this one. So I've moved on, I've left it, because I joined the binding with an angle, the actual seam of the binding goes around the corner. It's okay, nobody really picks at that one. All right, is there anyone out there that wants to ask a question about the binding or anything like that? I'll move on to a couple of other things I'm going to talk about. Okay, so don't forget the website. I did load up all the Jagged Stacks quilts are now on there. So that was from our last workshop, so they're on there now. Got them on in between that one and this one. I am working on the trippers. I do have to make some more kits up for that to get them on there. All my fabrics, most of your 2.5 inch strips, 5 inch strips and 10 inch squares are all $45. Another moment. The light bulb went on, did it, Barbara? I always say the light switch got put on. All right. They're all $45. Don't forget, any orders over 50, I've got free postage on for the website. If you've enjoyed these workshops that I've been doing, thank you so much for supporting and watching them. You want a collection of all of my lovely patterns that I've got, different ones. They can come in a collection that you can see on the website in a lovely folder that's made with recycled inner tube tires. All right, they come in the folder. I've got one red folder and I've got some yellow and the nice olive green ones left. The special is on there. They're usually $245 with 12 patterns, and I've got them on a special as $195. And again, the postage will be free. If you've got friends or anybody that doesn't quilt, I do have quilts, handmade stuff on there as well. So you've got handmade quilts which I've got plenty of time. When you think I'd have plenty of time to make lots, but I seem to be actually quite busy. All right, with all of this website and trying to get this all organised. These little gifts are usually given for people that reserve a seat when I'm at my shows. Everybody that orders up until tonight will actually receive one of those in your order as well. I want to thank everyone. I hope you've all enjoyed this day of workshop weekend. They are there now where you can go and watch these over and over. Don't know why, it's my voice. But you can watch them over and over again. I do love chatting. I will be back on live. Wednesdays I have my treasure hunt Wednesday. I also will have some live stitch-alongs, which could be late at night, where I'll be actually making something and just sit on there live and chat with you as I go along. I'll be doing some other little projects, some little tote bags I've got in my brain. I actually make them here, so I'm just going to make some and show you how to do them. They're not a pattern or anything, it's just something we use all our scraps and our stash for. Okay, can I just say thank you to all the emergency services, all those people that are working in the shopping centres for us, the whole thing. I've got hand sanitizer. I've had a bad habit of, my hair is getting on my face with these fans. I want to thank you. Thanks, Carol. You guys all make me laugh too, and smile that you're all out there. We're all in the same boat. We're all in our little isolations. I am isolated here in my shop, and 10 steps down the hallway is my house. So I actually don't go too far. At lunchtime today I did take a little walk outside, but it was raining, so I got wet, hence why the hair's a bit frizzy. But I am, as you guys all know, I'm pretty natural with all how I am and how to make these things. Be casual, not really casual, I just want to have fun with it. You know, we need to have fun with what we do. So when you're making your patchworking, if you've got any problems or anything, just message me. And if you can't find anything on the website, I might have missed it, just message me. Change colours, all that sort of thing. I am contactable. As I said in one of the previous videos from yesterday, my phone is my partner. It is beside me all the time, so you can actually contact me at any time of the day. So I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for watching. I hope that binding has helped with you with everything, and you're now going to go and get those 30 quilts that need binding and get them put on. Okay, happy sewing. Keep an eye out. Pass this on and share it as much people as you can, because the more I reach, the more community we get bigger, and we can share different things together. So thank you so much. Happy sewing. Enjoy your afternoon. Stay safe, and I definitely will be back Wednesday night with a live one, but it may be sooner as well. I'll see how I go. I might take the day off tomorrow. All right, so everyone have a lovely afternoon. Stay safe and happy sewing. Thanks, Joanne.